Can a white guy make pho? So today I'm gonna make pho, and for years I've been making it for my family. I've been using canned broth, and it's been good, but we stepped up our game. I received this recipe from a colleague of mine, a good friend of mine, who helped me to learn how to make pho using an Instapot. So that's how we're gonna make it today. So you can certainly add more beef bones and more bouillon if you want to make it more flavorful. The MSG that I use is completely optional, but I didn't want to upset Uncle Roger. Many of you may know him, maybe not. Either way, figure out who Uncle Roger is. And then if you like this video, please tell your friends, like, subscribe, comment, and what the pho? Let's see if we can make this. Okay, these are your beef broth ingredients. They're very important, otherwise your soup is gonna be garbage. So you're gonna have a large or a medium white onion, and then you're also gonna have some ginger that I've sliced to get maximum toasting in the oven, and then rock sugar. And then you're gonna need a spice bag that I bought from the local Asian store that has all of your spices in it that are really important. So you have cloves, cardamom, star anise, and then licorice, cinnamon, extra cinnamon, because we like it just a touch more cinnamony, and then some some peppercorn, sorry, and then some 3 crab fish sauce, which is really important, and then some beef bouillon and a beef bone. You gotta have a beef bone or it's not real pho. And then we're gonna add a little MSG so I don't make Uncle Roger super unhappy. And then some pho beef broth soup base bouillon type stuff. So these are the ingredients that are really important that we're gonna put into our pressure cooker or the Instapot when we get to that point. But right now, the next step is to broil the onion and the ginger. Okay, on a pan, I have lined with aluminum foil. I put my white onion and the sliced ginger, and I'm going to broil them on 500 degrees for about 20 minutes until they get a nice char or caramelization. Then I'm going to add them to the Instapot with the other beef broth ingredients. Okay, halfway through, I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna flip everything. Flip the ginger and the onion to make sure both sides are nice and toasty. That's gonna get flipped over, and then back in the oven it goes for another 10 minutes. Okay, the 20 minutes is up. Let's pull out our ginger and our onion so you can see everything is nice and crunchy and caramelized. So next we're gonna put this in the Instapot. Okay, the next step is now you put all of your beef broth components in there, your onion, your beef bone, all the spices. You're gonna put all of your spices in the spice bag that you bought from the store. And then you're gonna fill this up to 2/3 of the max level, basically the max level of your Instapot with water. Okay, somewhere about there. Okay, once you have all your water and your spices in there, go ahead and put your lid on, set it to the sealed position, come down and hit the soup broth option, and it'll cook for 60 minutes, and it should just go. And if you're not ready to eat it when it comes out, then you can go ahead and let it sit. This Instapot will allow it to stay warm for many hours, and then you can pull it out when you need to. Okay, these are your garnishments for your soup at the end. So basil's pretty traditional. We love basil. Basil is a great added flavor. Also some cilantro. Fresh cilantro is great. You can squeeze a lime in your soup, which is great. And then green onions that are finely chopped or like chopped kind of neatly like this. And then also some jalapeno, which is great. Adds a little bit of spice. Bean sprouts are very traditional, very yummy. And then some slices of onion. This is kind of optional, but I like sliced onion in mine as well. And then you're gonna have some very thinly sliced beef that you're gonna put over your noodles. And then you're gonna pour your broth over the top of this, and the broth will be kind of ripping hot, super hot, and it'll cook the beef. And then finally, when you're going to eat your soup, many people pull some of their soup out and put it on a spoon and then add some hoisin sauce and some sriracha as well, and that's pretty traditional. So this is a great healthy meal.
3 hours later.
Okay, so once all the pressure is released, then you can pull off the top. And I'm just gonna do a quick taste test and see what the broth looks like. It looks pretty dang delicious and smells quite wonderful. And the other thing I'm gonna do is pull out the spice bag because I didn't really know whether or not those spices will break down and cause problems. But overall, it looks pretty dang good. I'm just gonna take a quick taste of it. Looks pretty good, nice and clear. Ooh, super hot, super hot, super hot. But very tasty. And at this point, you may want to salt it if you don't think it's salty enough, but that's actually pretty salty. And I would tell you not to over salt it at this point because at some point you're going to add your hoisin sauce, your sriracha plus your other stuff, your other vegetables and things. So you don't want to over salt it at this point. But overall, this is pretty good. So I'm going to put the lid back on and prepare for the next step. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and strain the broth out of the Instapot. This is the only time I think Uncle Roger would allow me to ever use this. Uncle Roger hates strainers, but I need a strainer to get all the spices and things out of this. So that's the only time I use it. So this looks pretty dang good. Nice and oily like it should, and super tasty. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the stove and get it boiling and get it really, really hot before I pour it over the meat, which will eventually cook the meat. And then you go ahead and put your garnishments over the top of that and serve it. So it smells really fragrant and looks pretty tasty. Okay, the next portion of this is that you wanna get your noodles prepared. The best way to prepare these rice noodles is to pre-soak them. So get yourself some lukewarm water and put your noodles in the pan. This is a new thing for me, so we'll see how it turns out. Normally I just cook these, but I'm actually putting them in water and we're gonna pre-soak them to the point where they're kind of soft, but not super gushy. And then right before we serve them, we're gonna cook them to get them al dente and then put them in the bowl. Okay, these noodles have been sitting for a couple of hours. They're pretty loose now. They're still pretty firm, so we're gonna have to cook these for a few minutes in boiling water to get them al dente before they're ready to eat. But they look pretty good. Okay, so next thing you're gonna wanna do is you wanna cook your noodles. Remember, you have had these soaking for about an hour. So you're gonna put them in your noodle strainer, or you can put them directly in the water, but they're a little bit easier if you use a strainer like this. You just drop them in there, and then you gotta let this cook. They cook pretty fast. And what you wanna do is you wanna get them cooked to the point where they're al dente, and then you're going to wash them off. Okay, so next, you see how we got the broth rip-roaring hot. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna just pour it over the meat, and you're gonna see that it's gonna cook really fast. Okay, see it's starting to get cooked. Okay, good, good, good. Nice and cooked. A few little scoops of that. Okay, maybe one more scoop, and you can see that it's cooking quite nicely. Okay, perfect. Okay, next, after our meat has been placed in our broth and it's starting to cook really nicely, the next thing you do is you could add your bean sprouts, and there's Big Kitty saying hello, and then some onions, lovely onions, and then some jalapenos to give it some spice, some cilantro off to the side, some basil, some nice wonderful green onions. Can't beat that. Okay, wonderful. Very delicious. Uncle Roger would be so happy with me. And then a time. Time to eat. Woo, we assembled it all. It looks so beautiful. You need a spoon or you suck, because that's going to scoop up your sauce and all your ingredients. You need chopsticks or you suck, or whatever. And then you need a baby bowl that has hoisin sauce and sriracha in it. So you can put lots in there. Now, some people will actually pour the hoisin sauce and the sriracha in their soup, which is a violation of all Asian ancestors, like my papa does. But we don't here. So what you do is you get it and then you stir it together. It's quite delicious. Okay, lovely. And what you're gonna do is you come back to your bowl. You're gonna get some noodles. Okay, maybe some noodles, a little bit of meat, some cilantro, some noodles, and whatever else you can find to put in there. And then dip, and then scoop it into your pie hole. That's so good. Colleague of mine, friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, colleague, and then we'll stop with the intro. So I've been a pho fan. So I've been a big fan of pho. Hey, you ready? Been making it okay, we'll start over.
Oh my gosh.
Are you trying to make bloopers?
Am I in a good position?
Squat on the set.